Hello, this is Matthew French from the French Family Farm. I'm here today to talk to you about apps for your phone, iPad, and computer that will help you be a better farmer. Yes, in our technological age, there's quite a few companies and private individuals who develop some apps for your phone, both in Droid and in iOS, that you can use to help track movements and animals on your farm. So I'm going to show you those in just a few minutes and how I use them. Now, some of these, the ones I use are only for Apple. I know some of them do have an Android option as well. So some of you folks who use the Droid system, you can do some searching around on Google Play and see what you can find. Some of these will be there, and some of them will not. So let's go to my iPad right now and take a look at what apps we can use. Alright, so I've got my iPad set up here for us to look at, and we're going to start it up. And I'm going to open it up here, and I've got all these different apps set out for us to look at. And there's several different ones, and I like aspects of each one. But we'll start here with this one here. This is Livestock Manager, and I'm going to try and get it to take a, that's right, it doesn't take a landscape form, so we'll turn it like this. It's not my favorite one, and it was rather expensive at that, and I've been not very impressed with it. So I'll walk you through it real quick, but it's basically it's supposed to be a multiple species management app. And what you can do is you can touch inventory, and what it will do is come up and it will show you a list here where you can put a lot of different the names of your different animals, sale dates, review, so you can look at different aspects of your livestock and what you've done with them. So you can add an animal to it, and I'm going to show you the problem. So what you can do is start, let's use my location, but you can start by adding a name to your animal. So let's call her Betsy. And or you can actually put a number in there. So say she has a tag number. Let's give her number 27. And you can select your if you want different types of what you want to put in there. So your different animals. So let's stick with cattle. And hit select. And go back to our animal. And then here's the problem I have. If you use it for cattle, it's got just about anything you can imagine in there. But if we switch the designation to something like chickens, and we go back, and then we select a breed, now we got a problem. And it says you're supposed to load the reference data. And every time I do this, it does not work. So I'll hit OK, and I'll go down here to the bottom like it suggests, and I'll select System, and I'll select refresh data, reference data, I'm sorry. And you're supposed to go down here, and if any of them say 0, you're supposed to select. Well, gender's marked 0, so I hit gender, and it comes up with 24. Now, I'll just be honest, I don't think there's 24 genders out there, but I guess it's a modern age, I reckon, so maybe there are. I don't know. But I'll hit breeds, and I'll refresh the data like you're supposed to, and hit done. And every time I do this, I go back to my inventory, or I'm sorry, the add animal. It still says no data. And I can even back out and do it again. Hit the breed button, and it still says no data. And that's the biggest hang up I have with the iLivestock Manager, is it doesn't contain the data like it says it's going to. So that's the big thing. I think this could be a very handy app, because if you just go ahead and add in the animal and just type in your breed, so I'm going to put that back to cattle. If you use it for cattle, like I said, it's already got it. So I'll tell you what, I'll change it to sheep, because that's where I had the same problem. Let's select sheep, because it has a lot of good information in there. And so let's add my breed, and again, there's no data. So I'll go back and I'll just type it in. All right, can select your gender, and we'll say it's a you, and we'll hit add animal, and you can add information in like who the sire was, who the dame was, if they had a surrogate dame, whether it's polled or not. So if you've cut the horns off, or I mean, it's got a lot of nice selections in here. So we'll select polled, and you can add the color, the date of birth, the weight, if it's a purebred or not, if you know for a fact the date it was born, so it's age verified, if you raised it or not. So there's a lot of information, good information too, if it came from twins, triplets, or if it's a single or quadruplets. So there's a lot of good information you can keep, and this will keep it all on record. Like I say, it's just frustrating that the different breeds other than for cattle aren't in the app. So I'll just hit apply, but that's it. But it keeps all this on record. Your birthies, so you can look at a record of the birthies of your animals, gestation times. So all right. So another one that I use or I don't use, but is available, is called herd. And herd is similar to iLivestock and iCattle in that you can add different animals. You can add a list of animals. You can add them in just by hitting the plus button. And you can add, again, an identifier, so probably a tag number, or a USDA number that you have, the name of the animal, description, field, date of birth, date of death. If you have death, you can also add in the sex of the animal and classification. So there's a lot of good information that can be kept in this as well. Insemination dates, hold dates. I think, like I said, a lot of these are very good and handy, but I'm going to show you now the one that I find probably the most valuable. Now, I don't use it properly, and it's called iHerd. And the reason I say I don't use it properly is it is actually designed to be used with just cattle. But the reason I like it is you can track a lot of good information in it. So what you do is, first off, it has a list of your properties. Let me get this open up so you can see it. So here's the French family farm, and it's my property that we have listed. And on this tab, as soon as you open it up, it has a map, and you can expand or contract the map with just the button in the corner. But you see all these little dots on here, these markers, and you can adjust and zoom in out on the map and get an idea of what you're looking at. But what you can do is you can mark yards, and they have a classification for yards, which I'll explain a little bit better later, but basically it's a group or an area where you're going to have a group of paddocks. And you can best see this in what yard I call the hilltop. And my hilltop yard, I have a bunch of paddocks that I use pretty regularly and moving my sheep around. And that's primarily what I've marked it here with. But I can also, when I move a chicken tractor into that same area, or I put my hogs in that area, I can also track that as well, where they've been. And I'll try and track that using what's called the paddock screen. But properties, and under properties, if you touch the tab with the properties, it comes up with a name, how many acres you're actually using, and your stocking rate. So your stocking rate, you can get an idea. Whoops, touched the wrong button. You can get an idea of that total head that you have on the farm at the time, currently. Now that number gets a lot higher for me in the summertime, and so it's very handy to see that, see where my chickens have been, see where my turkeys have been, and all my animals. So when I say I don't use it correctly, I'm going to show you now, because I can go to the Animals tab, and on the Animals tab, you can see the different the different animals I've raised. So top of the list is my turkeys, my broad-breasted whites, and then my chickens. They're all obviously in alphabetical order, but instead of different breeds of cattle in there, I have my different breeds of my livestock. I even have my rabbits in here that I have, but I can see where they've been, or I track with the app. Now this it looks exactly the same on my iPhone.
And so when I pull it up, when I'm out in the fields and I'm making movements, I can track them right there on the spot. And then it shows up on my iPad at home or on the web interface that they have. So you can see all my animals, and then they can be grouped into groups. And so like I can group all my sheep together if I want to. Now I don't have them all grouped together. I have two different flocks of sheep. One is a purebred Cadan, and then the other is a Cadan and a wool cross. So I don't have them running exactly together. And also another tab is the treatments tab. Now I don't use this real often, mostly because we're an antibiotic free, hormone free, and steroid free operation. So we don't really track too much of this. But if I do have to doctor an animal for any reason, it's nice because I can put down, what I've done and when, and then keep track of it. Then they have a tally tab, and this is handy if you're adding livestock to your flock or to your farm. You can just add them. You can add them by multiples. So if I want to add them by twos, I can add them by twos just by using this button here. I'm sorry, the count over here. I can switch my count to multiples I can even go by tens. So you can go as high as 100 at a time. But it's very handy to use when moving the animals or bringing animals onto your farm. And then under the settings, you can change quite a few things. But this is the main app that I use, and I really want to encourage you to check it out. It's called iHerd, and like I said, it's, if I remember right, it's correct. It's free on iTunes, and it's also a free use of their website. So check that out, and I'm gonna now show you the web interface.
All right, now after you've set up your app and your account on your iPad or your iPhone or your Droid phone, you want to come over here to the web portal, which is just simply iHerd.com. And when you get to this screen, you're going to click on the login in the upper right-hand corner. It's going to take you to the login screen. You simply enter your email and your password and hit login. Mine's already saved on my computer, so it was not too hard for me to do. After you get logged in, you're going to come to the main screen, and on the main screen you're going to have a whole bunch of tabs as soon as it loads. So on the main tabs you're going to have properties, yards, paddocks, chemicals, animals, movements, lost and found animals, reports, and users. As I mentioned earlier, I use the app to cover many different species on my farm. So I track the movements and log the movements of my chickens, my turkeys, my rabbits, my pigs, my sheep, and that's all I'm dealing with right now. I'm not even using cattle at this point, raising cattle. I'm getting ready to start raising cattle. My dad has cattle, but I'm not in the cattle industry myself at the moment. But when you come here, it'll pull up. It'll give you the name of the property that you've entered. It'll give you how many acres is on that property that you currently have mapped out. All right, now that's the key. So when you map out your paddocks, this is your acreage is going to come up. Now it's probably fairly close. I don't know exactly if it is, but according to this, I'm only using 3.5 acres. Now with the number of animals I'm raising and the rotation I'm doing, I think that's pretty good. Currently it says I only have 27 animals on the farm. Now that number, of course, is way higher in the summer, but currently that's what I have. Now, if you click on the arrows, beside of the name of the property, should be a tab that drops down. There we go, and it lists my animals that I have entered in. So you can see that that my rabbits. That's the only thing I have to remove. It's not hard for me. I know what I've got, but. So my Hereford Berkshire hogs, cross hogs that I have right now, it tells me how many I have. I can actually look around and click on several different things and find out a lot more information. Now what I want to show you the valuable is the movements tab. I think this is a highly valuable tab because here it gives you an entire list of your movements, your dates, and this is the only thing I'm going to point out. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like your dates and times are based on, I believe, Australian time. I'm not 100% sure about that, because this is an Australian company that puts this app out, and so my dates are off by about almost 24 hours and times of my movements. But the movement tab is very helpful, and the reports tab is also very helpful. On the reports tab, I can pull up a lot of information, who I'm selling, who I've sold my animals to, where I purchased them from. I can have all that information. As long as I'm putting it in, it's all right there at my fingertips. So purchase history, I can click on it, and it will pull up this tab, and it will show right off the bat. It gives me a name of folks who I purchased from. See, I've entered the hatchery I purchased my chickens from, some names of some of the folks I purchased sheep and pigs from, and all I have to do then is scroll down just a little ways, click Generate Report, and it will give me a full report of when I purchased my animals and where they came from, the dates they came in on the farm. As soon as it comes up, and there we go. So it gives me a lot of information. You can add more information in as you go. So your weigh bill information, but my breed, where they came to, who they came from, the dates I purchased them on. So all that information is right there. There's a lot of other features that I just don't have time to cover today that you can look into, but I think that for what it is, and if you use it improperly, as I do, you can get a lot of information out of your account that they give to you for free. So I think, for the price, it's a really good deal, and for what you're getting out of it, it's really a great product. After looking at our different apps, I hope this gives you an idea of what you can do with them and how you can use them, and hopefully you'll be able to incorporate them into your farm, and it'll help you to be a better farmer. So once again, thanks for watching our videos. I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope you'll leave a comment below letting us know if there's any other apps or farming software that you use and you find very helpful for you on your farm. I'd really like to find one that handles multiple species a little bit better than this one. So maybe you can help us out with that. So leave a comment below. Hope you'll like our video, and I hope you'll think about subscribing to the French Family Farm, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.